Alright, what's going on, everybody? We're back at it again with another video. So, what we're going to crack into right now is actually the update, kind of, since Dol Gundor. Y'all saw my whole almost movie of us progressing all the way from fighting the dwarves for about 2 weeks straight at the Dol Gundor Pass, pretty much, one of the three entrances in a way. And ever since then, we've actually had some pretty crazy events transpire behind the scenes that we had no idea. Us on the front lines, me and Raging Z especially, we're just meatheads out here, we're just out here beating our heads. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Ser Chubulus has
Point
actually
me in the
taken it
direction.
um, away in like negotiating terms and figuring all this stuff out for us about what has transpired since Dol. We had about 2 weeks of peacetime almost that. Meanwhile, all this stuff was going on behind the scenes. Relationships we didn't know about to um all these alliances. And meanwhile, we're just sitting over here like, man, what's going on? Our barracks are full for the first time in like 3 weeks. What's going on? I mean, are we done? Mid-November is apparently whenever the server's supposed to reset. So I'll let Sir Chubulus kind of take it away because he's been the one negotiating and really getting out there and kind of leading
Yeah.
Gondor up to this point.
So, just to recap where we're coming from DG, and we're kind of in this lull. So, what we see happening is Anor is kind of being kind of sleeper, you could say. They're not doing a whole lot, but they're still a strong presence on the map. They've got a lot of area. And then you have Agmar. Um, and let me back up for a minute. Arnor is really concerned with getting regional control, and that's really important coming into later. They're really just concerned with getting that baseline reward. And so you had Agmar. Agmar came in during this lull because they wanted to do like some extra little matches with some of our hurt hitters. And so they took a territory right in front of Gondor, right in front of us. And Arnor acted all really mad about this, but really what was happening um, was they were setting up a invasion. We did not know at the time, but what was happening behind the scenes was Agmar, Arnor, Rohan, and Erebor were about to just gang up on us in Gundor. We were, and we're in the process right now of actually losing DG. It is a painful process that took months to actually make that process. But to break it down to you, what happened was we did all these little matches with them, and really what it was is it served as a distraction so that Arnor could build up and push through one of our tunnels. Once that happened, all heck broke loose. Arnor broke in, Agmar broke in, Rohan started pushing on our Mordor gate, and Rohan's numbers aren't the greatest on our server, so we held them at Mordor Gate to try and contain the amount of fronts that we had. But then Erebor came in, and Erebor said, Erebor's got the manpower. If you'll recount in one of our earlier videos, we went to battle with Erebor over the course of like maybe 4 or 5 days to a week to get DG. We wrestled DG away from them, took it from them. And so what happened was Erebor said, "Okay, Rohan, move out of the way. You ain't getting it done." So they came in, took Mordor. So now we have the three biggest powers on the server: Arnor, Agmar, and Erebor, actively attacking and taking lands from us. We had control before all this started. We had all the control of the ghosts, and so on our server, the ghosts are the big mythical creature that everybody wants to control. They
Everyone.
want to they want to test it out. They think that it's really powerful. I will say, ghosts Oathbreakers are really powerful right now.
With a
And you
lack
don't
of
realize how
focus
powerful
damage
they are.
champions.
Yeah, you don't realize how
Yeah,
Yeah.
powerful they are until you actually face them. I mean, I've been going up against them. I hadn't been going up against them up until this point. Little did I know that they were just. Man, I thought my level 50 Emor, was just. Nah, I went up against a shadow with half Oathbreakers. I was like soul crushed facing that man. Because I just like it's just disgusting. They need some sort of adjustment, in my fair opinion. And
Yeah,
I think that everyone that and I found this out. If you didn't know already, they are the only neutral camp that every faction can use. Only
yeah. It's
so.
big because anybody can invade and immediately just um, gain
Control.
control of them.
Mhm.
So it's an important area to control on the map, regardless of what faction you are, just because of how strong they are. Until they make adjustments to them, if they make adjustments to them, they're going to remain one of the strongest units on the map.
Yep.
Just um, just to throw that out there, guys. But anyways, that painted the picture. We have three of the biggest forces on the map attacking us simultaneously, taking lands. People are being relocated, and we're not talking about like people leaving lands behind. Arnor was like burning all of our lands. They made sure that there was no tiles left in those areas. So people were overnight getting reduced from 200 maybe tiles to zero,
Yep.
literally overnight.
And what was the plan? Like,
Um,
where did we hear this information from exactly, Chubulus? Where did we hear this information from?
Uh, we heard it straight from the horse's mouth. We heard it from Arnor's leader. That the plan, after I got to talking with Arnor's leader, that was the plan. What because we had such a strong presence on the map, we had all the ghosts, we had DG. They said, "Hey, we're just gonna do a 4v1 here," and I have it in messages. Was going to burn us and completely zero out our lands, take all of the territories, and just essentially make everybody quit. Um, and We had a really strong problem with leadership in our main guild in Gundor and our main
still,
alliance.
still,
I'm still
Understatement.
struggling. I
Understatement.
we're still
I'm
struggling. It's not that like it's just oh these YouTubers they want to take control. It's just that we have in messages not had a leader in our guild since we've taken control of Mordor. Mordor was taken before we took
Or DG.
before we even
Yeah.
took what was it? So it was let me get the name of the keep that is right underneath. Is it
Talking
Brownlands?
about
Brownlands. So before we even took Brownlands leading up to DG, we had no leader going into
Yeah.
Dol Gundor. We had no leader.
no
That's
presence.
But
Zero.
honestly, before even that, the leader that we had before that didn't even do anything, right?
yep,
Wasn't a real leader. Was a figurehead.
yep.
We Yes, that's a good way to put it. We gave up Isengard. We did all the work for Isengard, and our leader then gave it up. If we actually had maintained and taken uh, Isengard's capital, we would have crushed whatever players were in Isengard, and we probably would have just went ahead and collapsed on Rohan. Or the
Well,
other
we were
way
allies at the
that would have
time,
worked,
I think.
right? And the other way that would have worked was they could have actually been a more effective ally for us. It was either going to go, one or two ways. They weren't just going to sit there on the map. We were going to either force them to do something, or
Almost
yeah,
like bend
because
them to our
Rune,
will in
yeah,
like the
pretty
most
much,
reasonable sense because we lost a whole lot of say in the situation because now we have Arnor in our area. We have Agmar taking a city slash keep. We have literally someone next to our base, and I'll even show y'all. There is someone that spawned in next to us. I think someone moved their alt over to us.
yeah,
And so now we're having just massive amounts of influx of not only AFKs just taking up lands because that's just a huge problem by itself, but what we're kind of experiencing now is just it, season one. I was kind of thinking was just going to be one faction rules all. One faction was just going to
hmm
come in, swoop in, take Dol Guldur. They were going to have a whole bunch of hardcore 100 top guild, no problem. I was never expecting this to end up being this exciting in a way. I mean, we even got to the point of rage quitting our alliance because the leader was not transferring.
AFK.
He was AFK and he
He
wasn't
was
answering
AFK.
messages, and so we were trying our best to kind of just try and get active players together. I mean, meanwhile, all Agmar is raining down fire on us, um, and
Arnor is still going
yeah,
at this
Arnor's still
point.
going strong. They want all the ghosts for themselves. Erebor is playing super strong. Erebor is extremely active. I mean, my gosh, what's crazy is that they had 2 million power, and they still do. But we always had like I think about 200k less total power than Erebor, and we were still beating them 1v1. And what's scary is people were so afraid of us that they had to have 4 factions team up on us between Rohan coming to the gate at Blackgate, Erebor literally going from I mean they've been going from the top of the map down to Mordor pathing, and now
Yeah,
they're at our
it's
doorstep.
rough.
Then Arnor got in through, and what's crazy is, we kind of foresaw this coming a little bit, and we kind of explained to whoever was most in charge, is the best way to put it, is they're gonna come in through Dunharrow. Nah, we're good. We're gonna demilitarize this zone right here, and we're gonna call it quits. Same thing with Agmar. They apparently got sad that we took a fort from them, and next thing you know, overnight they're all in our lands.
Just a little clarification there. We're talking about one player's individual fort that took 2 hours to make, and that is the justification for a whole invasion.
Yep.
Just to be clear on
Yep.
that.
Um.
But
Once.
anyways, just to come back to the the politics part, because we're in a horrible situation. People are actively we're losing land left and right here, and so I started talking with the person that's most in charge of our area of Gundor, and they're looking for a leader. And so I said, look, I will do it. Let me do it. And but we need to start making moves now. I started talking with Arnor. I said, Arnor, hey, um, you've made a lot of progress, this and that. And I'm actually looking through the messages right now. Arnor actually wasn't really all that interested in attacking us. They were just kind of in it along for the ride, really,
Yeah,
from
they
my
were just doing it because
understanding.
they were told
They
to. They were doing it because
Yes,
they were told to.
and they
We
wanted
were a
ghosts.
necessary evil.
Yep.
Yes, and I do understand they wanted to have ghosts. I do get that. That was Agmar's that was
Reasoning as well.
Agmar's big thing too. But I said, Arnor, hey, and this is really kind of tying, just bringing politics, talking about politics in this game, how important it is to have good relations with other factions and just negotiating when you can with other factions, even if it means giving up what you need in order to, because you got to keep your eyes on the prize when it comes to this game.
The ring.
And what am I talking about? I'm talking about rewards, and I'm talking about DG. I'm talking about the ring. Okay,
Regional
like,
control, especially for either like Arnor is apparently the main alliance from our understanding, and Agmar is almost like an ally, but they wouldn't be able to take on Arnor. So they're more
and they
focused on
can't take
regional control.
us
Yeah,
solo.
no one could, obviously, because we took on the dwarves. So what's crazy is how many people played into each other's hands, and what's just so funny about this, everyone kept thinking they were falling into each other's hands. They were like a snake eating itself. That's like what was going on,
That's a good way to
because
describe it.
Arnor thought that um they don't even know who's taking the ring because it's so confusing. It is we're a non-factor. We hold the ring right now, but to everyone else's eyes, it is neutral. It like
Yeah,
it is literally neutral right
we
now.
have
We
it.
can't
We have it
contest it.
surrounded.
We can't contest it.
No,
Yeah, I
we
mean, we've
can't even
got it
contest it.
surrounded with forts, but we can't do anything right now just because we're so, like, our backs are just so up against the wall right now. We can't even think about defending DG. But But I mean, I'm talking to Arnor just to show y'all, going back to what I originally said about regional control with Arnor. Like, until I mentioned, oh, you guys are going to go for the ring, they're like, oh, it hasn't come up much in discussion. I'm like, what are y'all? What's your goal then? And so it wasn't until I brought that up that they're like, we really don't want to be in Gundor anyways. So yeah, we're just gonna pull
Why are
out.
you here?
Okay, and I
Oh
got this
my
all in
god.
messages, guys. Just to be clear, we'll be showing them on screen as we're having this discussion. But it just goes to show, even when you go into season 2 and season 3, um,
These people follow you.
pick pick these brains out if they're willing to divulge this information. It's really huge.
Just talk.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
just chat. It goes a long way.
negotiate.
communication.
All
Just do it.
Sir Chubbs came across as just a person in Gondor that was maybe aligned with our alliance or the main alliance, whatever it was at the time. Next thing you know, he starts chatting them up. He starts, just telling us that this is
He
all
slid
just
in their
we're just here for
DMs.
the heck of it. We're just
Yeah,
what's
slid in their
crazy is they've
DMs.
just been bloodthirsty up there in the corner, just eating up Linden. And then they'd go down the Isengard and they're like, yeah, let's just, go ahead and eat them up too. They're over there. They got the hobbits, they gobbled up the hobbits. They took them, they ate up the elves. They ate up Isengard. They ate up Rohan. And now they're like, well, we're here for the ghost. I mean, we're just here for that gold pipe at the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, Sir Chubbs is like, what about that mithril coat? And they're like, yeah, dog, that doesn't sound too bad. We'll take one of those. And
Yeah.
so now they're like, let's move on up to
Yeah, and
DG. This is
and
where just the politics and negotiation, this secures, in a way, this secures us getting regional control. You got to think about the long-term effects of
right.
your faction. You got to think about your faction as a whole. You got to forget that whole this guy took my lands, this guy. You got to think about what's good for your faction. No matter what, at the end of the day, you
Don't
got to
hold
make
things
sure people are
personal.
rewarded. Yes,
And
you got to
like,
make sure people
think
get
about how many
rewards.
players are in your region. Think
Yes.
of how many players are in your alliance. You're talking about hundreds, especially if you're talking about in season 2 or 3. Whenever you're talking about, the
Just, yeah.
players that are going to be around a while. They're all going to be condensing into these server merges, and you're going to end up with very dense populations. Um,
Harder to get the
and
ring. So you want
it's
to
going
get
to
it
be, yeah,
early and you want to get it like you want to make sure you have the rewards now so you're not worried about them later. Like that mithril coat, it's going to be more valuable in season 1 than in season 2 because um getting it in season 2 is going to be significantly harder because of the people you're going to have to either pair with, group up together with, things like that.
hmm
And not everyone can get regional control. So playing politics is part of the game. Now,
yeah.
we haven't heard much from Raging Z. All right. So I want to hear a little bit from Raging Z because I know he's been out there on the grind facing all of Agmar, facing all of he's experienced a little bit of his land second through. I want to hear a little bit from Raging Z. Why don't you take it away?
I feel like I've probably had most of my lands taken away. I've dropped from 211 to 164 as of right now because I had pushed a lot more towards Agmar. And I think that's the reason why I got so frustrated with communications. I mean, I was literally raging, as my name implies. Like, I mean, there was a lot of
Yes.
problems that we were having, and it was like, and I was part of the problem, and I will fess up to that immediately. I was saying, why doesn't someone step up? Why doesn't someone take control? Why doesn't a leader actually emerge? And everybody's sitting there pointing fingers, like, I don't know if y'all seen the Spider-Man meme, but everybody's sitting there pointing fingers at each other, like, no,
Yeah.
you, no, you. And Chubulas picked it up, and he's like, I mean, he has the experience from IC, and I mean and it shows
These people
as it
don't know about the
developed.
politics. They
Yeah,
don't.
and I mean that just shows that saved us. That saved my lands because as soon as Arnor decided to stop, as soon as Erebor turned around, we have a singular focus, and that right now is Agmar. And as soon as we can get Agmar out, we can retain regional control. And then once it's just like this goes back to the best offense is a good defense, and I think that is solidified in politics, allowing you to build your base, allowing you to build your foundation and grow forward. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
I I mean it's just as simple as that. I mean, and this just shows how quick the season can turn around.
Yep,
Just because you get
absolutely.
DG does not mean you can relax.
Yep,
Like, politics continues the whole entire time.
yep,
Alliances change, betrayals are happening every single day, including probably in your own faction.
yep.
People betrayed you,
Yeah.
and things happen, and it all goes to show that it is never over until it's over. Like, you need to push through until the end, and it goes to show, like, we have an empty guild probably because we didn't have a real leader, and because they didn't say you need to stay
A lot
active.
of people quit.
A lot of
Yeah,
people
we were
quit
dropping
because we
flies
got
past
DG.
DG, you know.
Yep,
Like, to be honest,
people
we were
have just
dropping.
dropped off. It was so bad, and that just shows you that you need to play the season through until the very end.
Hmm.
Yep,
That's my bottom dollar.
But
yep.
yeah, I mean, it's really been a crazy ride thus
Enjoyable.
far, and but to just to finish the story really quick though, because after Arnor, and this was over the span of 24 hours, by the way. um it was 4v1, and it dwindled down to 2v1 now, and now the two factions, Erebor and Arnor, are now about to fight each other over the ring, I presume, because yeah, Erebor didn't sound too happy about the arrangements I had made with Arnor. And so all of a sudden, now all we have to do is now focus on Agmar and Rohan. Really,
Whatever
they're
they're left of, you know,
whatever. Yeah.
the 5
Um,
to 10 active players they
but
got.
if there's a chance that we can retain DG, you know, we'll certainly try for it. But that's I'm also trying to keep everything in consideration here, because we've got Arnor that we're on somewhat good terms with now. Agmar we won't be on. Erebor is okay, but we're when you think about the next season and the future seasons to come, you want to be on good relations with other players. You know, the factions and alliances may change, but the players are going to stay the same. And people do remember, you don't want to screw people over. Like for instance, the standstill, the truce with Arnor. Like, the worst thing to do would be to like go and try to retake that land right now. Okay, that I'm not going to try and do that. Or even if Agmar, like, even if we push Agmar out, I'm not going to. We need to show them. We need to show them
Good
like
faith.
a good faith. There you go. That, we need to let them keep what they have, and we need to maintain regional control, get Agmar out, and if there's a chance that we can save DG, there's that chance. But that's later on though, and that's if I can not screw over other factions in the process. Because again, these players are going to come in, and they could be on the other side. The shoe could be on the other. The shoe can be on the other foot, and roles can easily be reversed next season. And you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're messaging the leader of a faction that is currently giving it to you guys, and you're like, "Hey, do you remember in season such and such where you did such and such?" And then you don't really
Yep,
have anything to say back, because they are just going to they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop because he remembers.
yep,
So, or she, but so anyways, keep politics always on the foref. Not well, not. I would always keep it on. I would always keep it in the back of your mind that, if the fighting, or if things just aren't going your way, just seeing what they want, what their goals are, what they're trying to do, to
yeah,
see if there's a meeting point, to see if you can negotiate an outcome that benefits both of you guys. And that's
yep,
that's really what we've been able to get going with what our current situation is, the best we can possibly do given our current
yep.
situation.
Absolutely. So to round us out here, what I'm gonna kind of say is rewards are always a great influence in what keeps players attracted. But guys, part of the reason why you want to try and why politics are necessary is to keep the game fun. It is not fun being burned to the absolute ground, having all of your, no one wants to just log on and get their Mathem chest and log off. They're there to play the game. They spend their time playing it and then get invested. And a lot of the players that either stay with a faction or something, they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They don't know. Try and look out for the best interest of your guild. Try and look out for the best interest of your faction, and keep things fun as best you can. You know, things get heated, sure. Try and keep things fun between your guild and the whole alliance. Don't take things personally. Please do not. This game is a lot of fun, and if you're the leader, try and keep things fun for your guild, man. That's the best thing I can say. Um, but overall, though, this has been a really enjoyable video to shoot for y'all. I hope y'all enjoy it. Like, comment, subscribe, and this is IPP Kids RL signing off,
This is Ser Chubulas.
This is Raging Rage.
and we'll see y'all in the next one.